have a photographer who has his heart in his eyes. He sees the heart through his eyes. He is an actor, a director, and a man who is loved by so many. Michael Hansel. Mr. Hansel!
Now what?
Now what? Now what? Now we just sit back and have fun.
Oh, good.
We get to talk all about you and your magic.
My magical heart.
Yeah. You see the heart. Number one, you have a big heart, and then you see the heart.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And then when you're taking photographs and when you're living your life, you see it through the lens.
I try to see people as they are.
Yeah.
You know, try to capture those moments. I like to watch is what they say. You know, I like to watch. And that's the important thing. And,
right.
You know, you asked me for pictures today and I said, well, let's go with reportage. And some of the reportage, meaning you try to capture different moments that are real. You know, they might be from silly to mundane, but they're important to tell a story. You know, so I try at least in some to get myself out of them and just show you, and then in others I insert myself, you know, in some of the reactions to what people say, and I just like to be silly.
I love it. Well,
in the end, it has to be silly.
But not always. Some of the time, huh?
No, always.
Oh, okay. There you go. I just learned something new about you, Mr.
Yeah. Even the most serious circumstances, you kind of have to be a little silly.
Okay. Well,
unless people don't have a sense of humor, then you just pray for them.
Well, you know, I was going to actually start with one of your photos that just all of them blow me away, but I'm going to, you know, you're talking about a little silly. So let's just start with some photos here. I'm going to see where we are here. Alrighty, boom, boom. I'm still learning how to use this, like Zoom.
Oh, we're on Zoom? Oh, shoot. I thought we were on YouTube.
We're on Zoom and YouTube. The YouTube.
How does that work? What?
I don't know. I'm still learning about it all.
Check. Testing 1, 2. I love this.
Isn't it? Well, while I'm trying to figure out this screen sharing thing, you didn't always want to be a photographer, did you? What was your?
Well, I've always wanted to tell stories. I've always wanted to capture moments. You know, that's my directing. And I've always wanted to direct because, you know, I've always wanted to play God. So, and
you just gave me an idea of a movie.
And that was a joke, but thank you anyway. So, but you're looking at your computer and not enjoying. You got to be in the moment. I learned that in Meet the Biz. Have you taken his class? Yeah.
Who?
Gosh.
Who?
David Zimmerman.
Oh, David Zimmerman. I think I've heard about him.
Yeah.
Well, so, this is interesting though, because right now I'm looking at you, but it doesn't seem like it, does it? But if I look like this, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the camera.
Right.
It's an art, this thing.
Okay. Yes, it is. But what you want to do is create a reality for whatever you're using it for.
Right. Okay. Well, let's try this reality right here, right now. Boom.
Okay, that's a picture of a Meet the Biz workshop. Have you ever taken in? Oh, I've already asked you about that. And that's just a fun moment.
Yeah.
And now, who is that in the picture?
That's Mr. Forrest, Mr. Toby Forrest.
Oh, he's a great actor.
He's a great actor, singer. Oh, I mean, the list goes on.
Yep. But no, it was a fun day. He was teaching a class, and afterwards they got up and did a set. And I always like capturing raw moments. And this is an example of being short is an advantage because I'm down low,
right,
and capturing that moment. So
what I love so much about this too is how his light is shining. I mean, the
yes,
light from him and his energy, as well as the light from above. And
right. I try to, you try to get happy mistakes. And that's kind of what you look for is you shoot a lot of shots and then you bring them up, and some lights are good, a lot aren't, you know, and try to get the focus right.
Right.
And because he's wearing a hat, when his head is up like that, you can see his face. But when it's low, then, you know, if he's tilting down, then the hat blocks the light. So
right. That's beautiful. It's one of my favorite photos of yours. I mean, you have a lot of, I mean, here's the thing about your photos, you are seriously one of my favorite photographers. And
I have a lot of pictures of you to show for that.
Oh, well, thank you.
I tried not to. I was going to give you all pictures of you.
Oh, no, please, no. But I mean, and I want to thank you for all those years at Meet the Biz. I don't know how many years it was, years and years. You took photos and photos, and thank God for that, because now we have a history of it. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's important to capture. Not only, you know, I didn't put any of the group pictures, but there's a whole bunch of group pictures that I'll give to you one day. You have a lot of them already, I assume.
Right.
But you know, of all your classes, and those are great memories just to have of a general group. But then the pictures I like are the silly ones, the ones in between, or when people are making faces.
Right.
And that shows the relationship, the love. And that's really what I wanted to capture with your class is the love and understanding.
Right. You know, and talking about one of those photos now, let's go to one of those. There we go.
Yeah, that's just capturing a moment in between of you working. And who is that fella?
That's Mr. Mark Povinelli, the incredible, amazing actor and human being.
And he has a shirt on in the picture, which is, you know, I would have rather him have it off, but he's a good looking man. But he taught another fun class. And you want to capture these moments because they represent joy.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that was an exciting class. I mean, he has given so much of his time and love to, and he does it to everything he does. And you have captured the, you know, those moments of you know, might be a little awkward, might be a little, but it's, you know what, it's human.
Right.
It's human. Now, you've been taking photos for years. I mean, you started taking photos at the Media Access Awards.
Yeah, I've been taking pictures for decades. So, yeah.
When was the first time you picked up a camera?
Oh, probably when I was like 8 or 9, 10.
Okay.
So, back in the film days. So
in the film days.
Yep. So I started in film.
Yeah. And you were very enraptured in film and music and art.
Yeah. It gets back to my love of movies. That's probably my greatest love is film and watching movies when I was a kid. and the storytelling that movies tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite directors growing up was John Ford, and John Ford films, and he always said it's in the eyes, you know, and the story was in the eyes. So that's kind of where I got that, where I wanted to capture faces. You know, there's different pictures. I think I have a more of a vista picture, not a vista, but the picture of at the screening, the one picture.
Oh yes.
With Blair and.
Yes, let's go to that one.
Don't mean to put you on the spot. No, or maybe I do.
Yes, I think you do. There you go. And I love it.
But this is a vista picture where what you're capturing is a screening of this film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about Down syndrome. But the host of the event has Down syndrome. And there's the director being hugged by Blair. Mm-hmm. But that tells a really important story. And through the picture. And you don't notice it at first because I don't think you should. You just look at it, oh, that's a movie picture. But when you get into the storytelling of it and how much went into it, you know, and who is that young lady?
That's Miss Jamie Brewer, the wonderful, incredible actress from American Horror Story and so many other wonderful pieces. Love You More.
I have so many great pictures of her breaking down barriers. Yeah. And this really is. Well, and it's not show-offy or anything. It just is what it is.
Well, you know what I love too about this is that, you know, you see them, but you also see this wonderful, it's sort of like it's this energy growing out of all of them to this Kelly's Hollywood above them with this face looking down, actually, it feels like, on them.
Right. That's the vista where when I was taking the picture, oh, that's the important shot. It isn't the close-up of the actress interviewing the director. It's the vista of the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. And the love. Right. I mean, you could see all the love. You could see how they're the Blair and the director
yes,
hugging each other, and then even the man. I don't know if he's the interpreter or what, but the man next to Jamie.
Yeah, they're relaxed.
Yeah,
and that's another story it tells. Yeah,
oh, I want those days again. I do. Yeah, that's gorgeous. That's a gorgeous one.
So that's about Vista. You know, that you want to see more than what's, because I like to narrow focus mostly, probably too much, but sometimes you just want to show the whole
Megillah,
the whole surroundings. I have another picture of your class at the school.
Okay, I'll get that one. Is that the one with?
And it's kind of a shot of the whole class from a distance.
From a distance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking. Oh, was that with Naomi Grossman?
Yes, the wonderful actress.
I love that one too. I mean, I don't see bad shots at all. Let's see. Share screen. And here, this one is.
Now, I have a lot of wonderful shots of you and Naomi being interviewed. Mm-hmm. But here's something you don't see a lot of. You know, so if you really look at the shot, you see a very inclusive class. Mm-hmm. You see this person signing on stage, person asking questions, and, you know, you see a wheelchair, and it really captures what you guys try to do in your class. And everybody's happy and smiling. You see different ages.
Yeah, yeah, very inclusive. And again, it tells a story. And again, there's that light. I love how you bring the light into it. It's sort of like a shining from above, you know?
Well, yeah, that's where you want to look at the staging. So that's a great room for me to take pictures in. because I can move around and look for where, you know, the lucky happenstance of your lighting. I mean, I would ask you to, you know, in a different time and place, you can do all the staging you want and get amazing pictures. But I knew I could capture this natural, right, without staging and posing.
I mean, in a way, this is like a painting. I mean, you even see at the front of the post picture, there's Megan, and if you look closely, you see that there is a hearing aid on her ear.
Right.
So, and then I love how Kay Darcy, who was just such a love, who passed several years ago, right in the middle, sitting up front with the light hitting her white hair.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Well, that's what the best cinematographers do. Is you don't want to have a lot of lights. You want to find that one angle.
Yeah.
And just put that light there.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Is I just found the spot where the light was, and took pictures.
Yeah.
You know, so I move around a lot.
Right.
When I take pictures to capture those moments.
Now you started, I mean, you directed a film.
Yes.
And when was that? Back, this was
about 2000,
2000, when we still had actual film.
Film, I shot on film 35, but yes.
Yes.
Back in the day, but and we can talk about that another day too.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where my thinking is cinematography, and I love cinematographers. So when I look at my pictures, I'm thinking of film. You know, I'm thinking of Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Your pictures do tell a whole story. They are, and that's why they're art, because they, you know, the one we saw of Toby on that stage, the one we just saw, I mean, each one, I mean, is like a painting. There's one that is one of my, I mean, there's so many favorites of mine here. Where is that one here? There we go. This is one of my favorites as well. And I'm being biased a little on this.
That I have probably 1,000 pictures of you two just in the same position. But yes, this one's wonderful. What it is what you want to do when you take pictures. You know, when you posing pictures, which this was part of that session, is once you get the pose, you want to take before and after pictures too. And you can sometimes capture the best moments of people being real.
Yeah.
And this is just love. And both your eyes are closed, you know, and people say, what? Their eyes are closed. Get rid of it. But you just see the love. And the hands are very important in this picture. The hug, the naturalness.
Yeah.
And kind of me just getting out of the way.
Well,
just letting you two be you.
It is interesting that you said that about the, you know, people pose for a shot and they're sort of like, okay, I'm ready. 1, 2, 3, pose. And you get those shots that are after the pose where it's like, okay, I'm going to hug you now. We're finished with the picture. But little do people sometimes know that is the picture when you're.
Yeah, oftentimes it is, because it's more natural. You know, and people like myself, I don't like having my picture taken necessarily. So there's real talent, and you have that talent where you can pose, and you can cover, which I try to get you to uncover, because you're a very good looking fella.
Thank you.
And when you're not, you know, smirking for camera.
Right.
And like I posted one on Instagram that I just love a couple of days ago. That and you can look at my account, Michael Hansel, an Instagram of David and
me.
Yes, you and Ati, but you guys do crazy pictures, but there's only a few where you're just really loving, and you look like a stud in that picture. Let me tell you.
Thank you very much. Listen, I
relax.
might have phone calls for dates after this interview.
But those are important. People forget those sometimes.
Yeah.
That you want to capture the historical, which is just a picture of you two together, and go, okay, yeah. But then the relationship you want to also capture.
Yeah, and that
So,
picture really has such love in it, and beside the love and energy, it has that beautiful green foliage behind it.
yeah, that's lucky. And again, a lot of pictures are thrown out because of the background.
Right.
Again, in that instance, I didn't need to have you move or anything.
Right.
And you get into trouble sometimes when you start posing.
Right.
If I would have had you guys move over to another spot, then it's not as natural.
Yeah.
So you have to, and I shot on film, so I wasted a lot of money on film. But this is digital, so just take the shot, look at it, and if if there's something in it that doesn't work, you can mask it or just say, oh well, and throw it out.
Right. Right. Yeah, and even the and I love how even the leaves are like, there's a few leaves that aren't perfect, but what is perfection? I've always.
You're looking at, if people are looking at the leaves, then I didn't do my job.
No, I mean, of course. I mean, usually I just look right there, but if you start exploring the photo,
right,
everything
nothing distracts. Nothing doesn't look natural.
Right.
There isn't somebody flipping you off or making a face in the background, which I have plenty of pictures of you and your friends doing things like that. Matt just making silly faces in the background, which are cute in and of them. Yeah, like that, which are cute, but they don't tell the real you. They just tell the showbiz you.
Right.
And maybe that's all this should be, because it's Meet the Biz.
Oh, Meet the Biz. Yeah, but Meet the Biz, that's what I'm trying to do with Meet the Biz. Or
what's that?
One of the messages is Meet the Biz is about humanity. Meet the Biz is diversity. Meet the Biz is, a lot of times the teachers would come in and, they would think they're meeting, or they would think they were the biz. And the students would think that the teachers coming in are the biz. But ultimately, everybody in that room is the biz. In fact, a lot of times the biz are the students. If that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. And it's often forgotten because, people get wrapped up into being popular, whatever that is.
Popular.
And instead of doing what they love.
Right. Right.
And there's lots of opportunity right now to do what you love.
Do what you love. And this woman does what she loves, doesn't she?
Yes. And again, this is just capturing a moment, but reflection, trying to show her a little different, and then her, people looking at her, her students in this class.
Yeah.
But you see her paperwork, she comes prepared.
Yeah.
And you just, the beauty of her.
Yeah. Miss Auntie Angel.
Yes.
Who is an angel. And you know what I love about this? It says, you look at this and you see the love, but you also see the mirrors, and it takes you to like, oh, and you see the poles in the background for the ballerinas or the stretching. So
right.
It takes you to that dance studio.
Right. And I think people, and I'm included in that, I like to make a lot of faces. And sometimes people get wrapped up into, they look at the face and go, is that a good face or a bad face? Mm. No, that's her just being real. That's her talking to the group in that moment. She can't do anything but look beautiful no matter what she's doing. And her being and that's her being real, and her hands, which I really liked in this moment.
Oh my God.
Hands a lot in telling the story.
Well, she uses that her hands a lot in her dancing as well, and her shoulders.
Right.
So that's
and there's lots of pictures of her and beautiful pictures of her dancing, and I have a lot to show for those. But I just wanted to capture her groupies, people looking at her, and really taking in what she has to offer.
Right. God, that is beautiful. Beautiful. I love this. I'm so glad we're like looking through these photos. They're like so.
And remember, anybody can do this, especially with phones and things. It's just a matter of just getting out and trial and error.
Right. But everybody has their own touch, their taste, their art.
Right. This is one of the first classes that I went to that you were teaching at the what was that place?
That was Inclusion Films. Inclusion Films. We had Meet the Biz there for several years through George Travolta's.
Now this is an amazing actor. Who is it?
Mr. C.J. Jones.
Yes. And he was there for one of your classes, just observing, and he's listening. And I love the idea of him just sitting there listening, and the background.
Yeah.
I wanted to put in there too, the posters.
Yeah. Yeah. It sort of seems also like she could be whispering to him in a way, or it's
right. Well, you see, what you want to pick is the eyes on either side are looking towards him. So they're kind of drawing in. They're looking, but, they just want to draw towards him in the end.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing about you. You see that happening, you snap because you feel the moment instantly, right?
Right.
It's not like a pre-planned shot, and that's what makes it artistic and so gorgeous.
Well, he was kind of alone, and most of the shots are him in a group of people and and things. But this is just him alone in the director's chair, relaxed and listening, taking in. And those are often the best pictures of people listening.
Yeah, beautiful. God, I mean, it's really a history what you've taken here. Oh, now this one is like, this is one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
Now this is the original non-cropped version.
Yeah.
I put in. I cropped it when I gave it to you.
Yeah.
Because I took out some of the background noise for it to focus more on the two actors in the center.
Right.
But this is an example of when you take the picture, you don't know where they're going. So you might want to be a little bit wide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she did that in that moment. She knelt down. So I just wanted to capture the interaction between really the two actors, or the three actors, and the student.
Yeah.
Because you always, I wanted to put it in a place. And that's where that came out of. And it was shot with a camera where you could zoom in and still keep that quality.
Yeah. And it's just the energy between them is so powerful that you could see it's affecting everyone around them.
Right.
Brenda in the back is just laughing and taking it in, but also her head is back a little because the energy is so powerful.
Right.
Then in front, Shannon is drawn into it by it.
Right. And you see, you can create different versions with Shannon, or you could go in tighter and just have the three in the picture. So that's, an editorial judgment.
Right.
But in this case, why I cropped it is, first of all, the location isn't the best location, as far as aesthetics, because it's a class, a classroom. So you want to get rid of that as much as you can.
Right.
without editorializing. And, the bathroom door isn't important. And so that's where I would crop in.
Right.
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 And that's the beauty of having a big sensor, is you can crop in.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to show an example of a real story, but actually from the outside in.
Right. Right. That is, yeah, and it is interesting, like you said, that bathroom door. I mean, and you could focus in on Shannon, you could focus here or there. You have so many pictures out of that one that you could have.
Right. And that's the editorial judgment. Or if what you wanted, let's say if I were delivering it to you, and you might want two versions. You might want the student version, the student looking at the scene, and you might want just the actors.
Right.
And I like to give people options. I'm not necessarily married to the picture unless I'm doing it, just for my own edification. But I look at it like in two ways. One is, my art, and then two is I also want to do it for the storytelling. So if you're a director, you're working with a team, you have producers, and I think of you as a producer. So I say, okay, help me out here. Don't, it's okay if you don't like the picture. And, but just, tell me why, and then I'll improve on what you want. And that's the hard part. Oftentimes people say, well, I don't know what I want. And you can, and as long as people are willing for me to keep taking pictures, I'll keep doing different things until they go, oh, that's what I want. And it might not be exactly what I want personally, because I'm going for the abstract and doing all kinds of wild things. But and the real story, like you say, is what is Meet the Biz about? No, I'm what is Meet the Biz about again, sir?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, I was hoping you would go into. I was like, oh, it's a.
Okay, give me the cue again.
What is Meet the Biz about?
Meet the Biz is about.
My tongue. What is Meet the Biz about again?
Meet the Biz is about bridging the gap between disability and ability, and coming on the other side of that wonderful bridge to inclusion.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. There you go. That's the lower register.
And that's where you when you're okay, I can do that. I can work with that.
Yeah.
I
like that because sometimes as a producer, I get into that, do I know what I want? And the thing is, I know what I like, and the acceptance and trust in my own self.
Right.
And allowing the person who is taking the photos or who is acting on the set or who's framing the lens, trust in your own ideas and creations and allowing them to give you the smorgasbord of what is possible.
Right. And if you're about selling tickets, maybe I just take all the pictures, because I have a lot of pictures of you and your class with celebrities. So I just post all those, because that brings in, that's another way of, if you just want to bring people in to sell tickets, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That's why it's biz, the business part.
But
but you're authentic in a different way. Which will never make you, a multi-billionaire, but maybe a billionaire.
Well, maybe what?
Maybe just a billionaire, not a multi-billionaire.
Listen. I'm loving life, and as long as I can survive in this wonderful world that we call art and life.
Now, this is a picture that got me in trouble.
It did?
Yes.
Why?
because I kept taking pictures. Who is this gentleman?
Well, the one taking the one with the camera is the wonderful, incredible Christopher Volker, and in front of the camera is the just an incredible model actor, J.J. Dubon. Christopher, of course, passed several years ago, but he a legend.
But anyway, it was another one of your wonderful classes.
Mm-hmm.
And where can you find those? Meet the Biz? Thank you.
Meet the Biz. You can find Meet the Biz at www.meetthebiz.net. And
Great.
for a more expanded idea of what we do, you can go to davidzimmerman.com. Be sure it's David S. Zimmerman.
Will do, sir.
Thank you.
This, anyway, I kept taking pictures of him doing his job, Chris Volker.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, he asked me to stop, but I'm glad I did because there's very few pictures of him working.
Yeah.
You know, pictures of him doing his job. And that's really what you want to showcase is with Meet the Biz is, oh no, these are professionals. They're two professionals just doing their job. And again, I wanted to be out of the way and just capture that moment. And if you're a photographer, you know, you look at that and go, yeah, that's a normal thing.
Well, again, it's a piece of art. This is a piece of art because if you look right in the middle and you see the two people on the sidelines, you know, you have to focus. And then you could see the umbrella, you could see the pole and the light hitting the pole. What I love, and I haven't seen this before because maybe I saw the black and white version of this, is how the light, that blue light from the computer hits his camera and the blue light
right.
then goes on the camera. I love that, even on the tip of his chair.
Right. And I also wanted to showcase the chair, just because, you know, I just wanted to highlight that because people will, you know, you see it, but you don't really see it.
Yeah.
And his apparatus of holding the camera. But yeah.
Yeah, quite gorgeous, that. God, these are so good. I love doing this with you. Thank you for this.
Anytime, or almost anytime. Yeah. Now, this is a picture I wanted to show of not quite right.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're two professionals, and, you know, I have like 1,000 pictures of you introducing people. Yeah. I mean, you look good. You look good in that picture. Yeah. And he's looking at you kind of like, what the heck is he saying?
I know, right? I was thinking that too.
and it looks like it's taken in a living room.
Uh-huh. Which it was.
No, it was at the WGA.
Yeah.
And this is where I missed a great opportunity to, I should have, you know, I was kind of starstruck. Who is that gentleman there?
Mr. Alan Rucker, the wonderful writer, author, main part of the WGA.
So I was a little starstruck by him.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, what I should have done is on the opposite side, there's a bookcase. Remember that bookcase with all the scripts?
Right, yes.
If I would have taken a picture of you guys over there.
Right, or from...
Because what you want to do is, again, it might have been staged, but this just looks like a living room somewhere, as opposed to we're in a prestigious place, and you know, he brought us to a great location, the WGA, and their study or whatever, where, you know, people don't often get to see. And that's where I should have set it up.
Well, it's interesting too that you say that, because it's making me think now that, you know, back then I would put together the workshop, and, you know, wherever the chairs are set, I'll go with it. You know, I just go with the flow a lot of times. But if I think ahead, or we think ahead, how about we have this as the backdrop of it? Because So that's interesting that you said that.
Because maybe during the day with the curtains open, there's a shot outside. I don't think there is, but you want to capture that to show it's a high rise. But Alan's such a good looking guy.
I know.
And I just love how he's looking at you.
He's like,
I just love it. And he's going, but you're just so earnest and honest and loving.
Oh my God. Oh,
it's so funny. I love this picture. Probably not everybody else's favorite, but it just shows you two. But again, I just missed that opportunity. We could have done a shoot in that where the bookcase was.
Right.
And that's where you have to think sometimes, go, okay, in this instance, we're going to use the location.
Well, that was years ago, though. That wasn't
right.
10 years ago. So since then, or even longer, since then.
No, it's not 10 years ago.
Not 10 years. I lose track of time. I'm like, time is like.
But I have lots of pictures at the at SAG.
Yeah.
And they're really good with you, and you did some classes there, and those are important because you want to showcase the professionalism of Meet the Biz.
Right.
I didn't put any in there because you said 10 and I put in a gazillion. So.
No, well, it's the ones you picked were great because it really, like you said, you're teaching so many different things here, and how each photo and what it means.
And there's probably, again, about 1 billion of these, of your students hugging the teacher for the day, the instructor, or whoever you brought in.
Yeah, well, that's the wonderful Cynthia Toussaint.
Yeah, and you weren't there that day.
That was, I think, one of the only Meet the Biz classes I couldn't make because I think I was ill in the Bay Area. I was up in the San Francisco Bay Area with the family, and so yeah, another amazing workshop there.
But again, it's the humanness of your class, and it showcases what it's about.
Yeah. And again, I love the people in the background just taking it in. Taking the energy. You see that? That is a humanity. That energy of two people hugging.
Right.
Just moves outward and affects other people around them. So.
Well, that's why I always want to include other people.
Yeah.
And again, being short, I can capture these better than people being of average height because I'm lower to the ground, and the angle just works so much better.
Yeah.
For these kind of poses. I mean, not poses, but these kind of pictures.
Yeah. Well,
people.
Yeah, go on.
And people shouldn't be, because some people are afraid, oh, well, I'm in a wheelchair, I can't, take high pictures. I go, well, no, but just take the pictures you can and, be your own, creative person.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, we talk about the love, because there's so many pictures out there in the world right now of this anger and this hate, but that has, it's like that ripple, you throw the pebble in the pond and it ripples. Right. So whether it's, what is your focus? How do you want to throw this pebble? Do you want to throw it with love? Do you want to throw it with hate?
But remember, in a lot of hate is built on the love they have for humanity.
Right.
And because if you didn't care, there would just be nothing. And right now there's people caring.
Right.
And that's what we have to recognize. I mean, I can kind of see through it, with the anger, but the love in it. Because nobody gets more angry than a mom if somebody's going to hurt their child. Am I right?
Yeah.
And that's pure anger, pure love. And we must remember that too. And when we look at the pictures, instead of looking at and then scrolling past, as we do our doom scrolling on Twitter or whatever, is go, oh no, let's stop in this. Okay, this guy is just hurting and we'll just leave him alone because he's a negative person. But here's another person who's hurting and they don't know why. They don't know why. And that's your class teaches us about loving and why to love. Not how to love, because that there's many ways you can, but why.
Wow. Maybe I'll add that to the website. Learn why to love.
Mm-hmm. Because what's the alternative? You can hate, like you said, but hate for hate's sake is boring. There's nowhere to go.
I think we have one or two more photos here. Yes, 2 more photos. All right, here we go for the next one. Another loved one, it looks like. Let's see, share the screen.
And again, this is a posed picture of you two.
Yeah.
Definitely posed. But you're acting.
Yeah.
But isn't that wonderful where you're Prince Charming and she's Cinderella, and it's just I just love that.
Well, and I loved you sent me this once on Facebook with the castle in the back.
Yes.
It was great with Disney.
I did lots of versions, but isn't it a wonderful, there's nothing wrong with goofing for camera if it comes with, again, like the other picture of you two with the love.
Yeah.
And she's just wondering what the heck you're doing and just going with it.
Yeah. And like you said, and this connects to the acting, is that when you are full and you have such a connection with the other person, or even if you, whatever that feeling that you have, it's real. And so this posed picture is so much fuller.
Right. And I don't mind the chairs and I don't mind any of the background because, again, this is like an offstage picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Of two people who love each other, acting, as they say.
Right. Ooh, guess what? I have a surprise. We have 2 more. We still have 2 more. Okay. Here we go. Ta-da.
Now, what's wrong with this picture?
Nothing. Yes, I do know. Oh my God, that was, and I caught it again.
That's one of my favorites. But it's such a natural thing because you don't see people differently. You're just going, oh, this is what I do. Is I put the mic up next to the person talking.
Right.
No, I mean, in reality, she could be speaking too. I just love the juxtaposition of the signing with the microphone.
Right.
And who's that lovely lady on the other side?
Oh, I love her so much. She is amazing. You know her well, yes?
Yes.
Consuelo Flores. Beautiful woman. Dear friend.
But yeah, so I picked that and she's beautiful anyway.
Well, and it really is so beautiful. All 3 of us there. It's the intensity and the focus on the wonderful Hillary right in the middle. But you look at her eyes. It's so powerful.
And that's another reason to choose it is is the signing. I love taking pictures of people signing because it is a poetry.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting to have the flag in the background too. I just noticed it. It's not there. I wouldn't have noticed. I've never noticed it before. But when I start looking at these photos, you look at different things.
Right.
Well, we have our final picture of the day from Mr. Hansel. Let me see here. Huh?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And this was taken at a bar. I mean, at which I can't remember. It was one of the agencies.
Was that
casting agencies?
Oh, a casting agencies like on like near Culver City or something.
Yeah, and Peter Farley was hosting a seminar there, and then afterwards, the people, went up and had drinks. But I wanted to capture a moment of, I tried to round up, herd the cattle, as they say, and take a picture. And he was really supportive of this film, and
yes,
I have so many of your groups together. I just wanted to show a different side of it.
Oh,
That sometimes you have to herd cattle
right.
and get them together and then take a picture. I have a good picture, but this one was my favorite because he's just enjoying. You just see the people enjoying the moment.
Well, I think this is from Bulletproof.
Yes.
Film Bulletproof, which was a wonderful film. And yes, I mean, you have done so many photos. I was like, I mean, we could go on and on because you've worked for, Marissa Amamoto.
Yeah, I have a lot of dancing pictures, and that's a whole different genre.
Right.
Because then you're talking about movement and
Right.
things like that, capturing movement.
Right.
And I have sports pictures. I have sports pictures from the Triumph Foundation and those, and yeah.
Thank you so much for all of this. This is amazing. If I had to throw out one more question to you for this visit, which I want more and more of your visits, what is your favorite word and why?
Love. Love.
Thank you, Mr. Hansel.
I love you.
I love you. Mm-hmm.